Hello and welcome, offensive security-minded people, students, and automation enthusiasts. So today we're going to talk about Ludus. By the way, is the easiest way to deploy dev and test infrastructure. And specifically, we're going to talk about if you go into the docs and you go to environment guides, we're going to talk about a brand new environment that just got released. So kind of backing this up to the beginning of the year, SANS created this intro to Kerberos and common AD Prives attacks with Empire, Gene specifically, and specialized in these attacks like Kerberosing, DC sync, abusing unconstrained delegation, and using SID history stuff. Really cool. Got a workbook for it. Got a range for AWS if you want to spend money. But what's cool is in Ludus, if we go here and I'm going to search Empire, we now have one of these ranges, and you can think Aleem. Thank you, Aleem. This is awesome. Very cool guide. So let's just get right into it. So let's git clone this, copy, bring it over here. We're going to ls, and I probably already git cloned it. So let's just see anyways. Paste, git clone, or I didn't. Okay, cool. Right on. So then we'll go ahead and we'll set the configuration file, which is way over here. So that's what we'll do next. We'll paste it. There it is. It's now in there. And then let's go ahead and see what the next thing is. Looks like we'll deploy the range. So copy. So we could look at that config file too if we go here and we do like nano. And then you can see it's like, oh, we got this Windows 2022, another Windows 2022. So forth and so on. It's got a bunch of stuff in here, a bunch of windows it looks like, and a Kali box. Cool. Yeah, cool. All right, that's nice. So let's, whoa, what's that template? I accidentally did that. So let's do this Ludus deploy. So that's easy as this. I probably could have typed that. Whatever. But we're going to do actually, I'm going to actually set this to go. I have users set up. So let's go team. I don't know. Let me find my Proxmox and specifically pull it over here so you can see it. Let's see here. What is Team 4? Anything in Team 4? Nothing in Team 4. So that is what we're going to use. So Team 4. So now that configuration set there, then I'll do Ludus range deploy for Team 4. Okay, so it's doing that. I'm going to pause the video and come back when it's done. It shouldn't take that long though. And if you're curious, you do a Ludus range status. Now I'm going to do user team 4. Oh, not 43. Team 4. And as you can see, or we'll see, it's deploying. It'll tell me success once it's done. If you really want to look at the logs, you can do Ludus range logs. You can follow it for the user team 4. And then here it is. It's like running this. It's acquiring IP. It's doing things. So I'm going to pause for now. All right, great. Looks like we're finished. As you can see right here. Well, let me cancel out the log. Play recap. So a lot of OKs. That looks great. No fails. So that's great news as well. All right. Back. Well, let's check out Proxmox. So if you go to Proxmox, you go to team 4, you can see the router and all the different boxes that it created. So let's go back to this piece. So install requirements. So if you're going to put in a virtual environment, that's all great and stuff to install this. Highly suggest if you're going to do Ansible to not do it on the machine itself, but use like I have Windows, and so I can like create an Ubuntu instance here, and then from there I can like grab the Ludus client, put it on my system. It's like right here on my system, and then I can tell it, hey, this is my actual server right here, and then I can run the client from here onto my Ludus. Of course, you have to have the API key, so I put my API key in my bash history, as you can kind of see, and then I source my bash, and as you can see now, I have this. So you can run your stuff that way if you'd like. I've already got Ansible and all that good stuff on there. This is already installed the Galaxy for this, but let's go ahead and put it here anyways. So, Ansible Galaxy, yep, nothing to do, nothing to see. That is all good. Then we have to set up the range numbers. So I'm gonna CD into there. There's all this stuff. If I cat out the inventory file, here's the inventory file, like that. So let's just follow the directions here. So we're gonna export this, copy, paste. Then we're going to move some stuff around with sed. Okay. So move some stuff around with sed. And just for giggles, I just want to look at the inventory. Oh, that's interesting. It's from my other deal. So let's see here. Where am I? LS. Inventory. Does not seem to be right. Does not seem to be right. So let's grab this and put it in here. Okay, let's export SANS. Let's do this piece. And let's do the provisioning. But before we do the provisioning, I'm very curious about this inventory file, which is way over here. So I'm going to pause this and look around. So before I do the provisioning. All right, 1 moment. All right, I'm back. Okay, so I catted this right here, and it looks like I got .2, which strangely doesn't sound right. So if I go into here, I go to the router, summary, and it's actually .25. So we want this to be changed. So I'm going to go ahead and change that manually for now. And right here, I want this to be 25. I want this one to be 25 and this one to be 25, I think, and this one to be 25. And down here to be 25. I didn't think there was that many things, but that looks like it. So we're just going to Control O to copy it, Control X to do that. Now let's do the provisioning part. So let's go back here and let's do the provisioning. So let's see here. Where am I? I am needing to get back to wherever I was. Where was I? In here, I think. Was I not in there? I was not in there. Okay. No. Is it CD scripts? Just guesstimating now. Okay, here it is. Go. What is this? Errors. Playbook build could not be found. Okay, so it's probably, so let me get out of here. There's a reason for this stuff. So there's this, right? Copy, paste, export that. Let's try this again. Export SANS. Cool. Let's chmod this. There it is in scripts. Cannot access it? No file. It just doesn't know where I am. I think it thinks I'm here. Let's try that again. Yeah, that's where I thought I was. Okay, so let's try this. Once more. All right, cool. Now it's actually moving some things around. So I'm going to pause this as it goes through. This is just informational in the pink. I'm back, and as you can see, a lot of green here, but let's go back to the workshop. It says, hey, warning! A bunch of lines are okay. This will take a long time, so don't panic. This will take a few hours, actually, so don't panic. At the end, we should be good to go. So that's really it. So I'll go back here, and it'll just go, and let me pause for the cause. All right, I'm back. Let's check out something real quick while everything's still going. So here's Callie. Looks like Callie's on this number right here. So let me copy that. We can go ahead and HTTPS, paste, and do 8444. And that should get us VNC. So Callie, password, all lowercase, and we're in. And then here you have to do Callie is the password. And I'll just say allow. And cool, we're in here. So the next part in here is to install through the workshop stuff. So if you go back here, all the way at the top, we've got this workbook. And go to the Empire install, which is right here under installing the environment. And these are a few things you would have to do once you have, like, let's say this up. Paste that in here. Callie, make that work. The next thing is git clone, just like this. Paste, git clone. Oh, permission. Okay, so anyways, sudo. And then let's see here, cd into Empire. Once that's done, paste. All right, we're in Empire. And then it looks like, let's grab the tag here. Paste, check out the tag, and then install. You might have to do this in a virtual environment. It might need that to happen. So I will pause and be back. I'm back. So yeah, it had problems with like poetry and like a virtual environment. So let's just, I was afraid of that. Let's just do that really quick. I noticed that there was an error earlier, and I thought it had to do with, well, here's the error. Virtual environment, blah, blah, blah. So I thought it had to do with this. However, it was a permission. If I look, I think far enough, I'll see that there's a permission problem somewhere. I won't look for it, but there was, here we go. It wasn't writable. So I had to change that. So I changed it by changing the ownership to Callie because I am Callie. And so once I did that, I went ahead and installed like normal, and then it started installing all the great things, and eventually got down to where it says, hey, do the PS Empire server. And so I did that, and then did all the things, and then eventually it spits out this right here. So then you can take this, you can open the link, it'll open up, and here you go. You have Empire, so it's like Empire admin, and then it's like lowercase, password 123. And I'll just say save it for now. And then there you go. You're good to go. You could just make a listener, create it, create what kind you want, what ports, all that kind of stuff. I'll just submit. And then you have your listener. And then your next thing would be to create a stager. So we'll do that really quick. Stager, what type? I would do multi-launcher just for now. And then Jesse's multi-launcher. Listener, HTTP, and submit. Then we have it. We can download it or copy it. And then we put it on our system to then get a beacon back to our agent. So pretty cool stuff. Agents here. All right, looking back at Ludus, looks like we're still configuring everything. So again, it's still configuring all these devices for the ultimate workshop here to Kerberos, DC sync, SID history abuse, and do the unconstrained delegation abuse. Then you can be able to follow along in this Empire workbook. Going down here, setting up the initial agent, kind of what I did, right? And then go all the way into Kerberosting and all that fun stuff. So cool. Well, really happy to get this done. Thank you for getting on this adventure and automating cool things with Ludus. Until next time, thank you so much for watching.